Speaking of Rash, did that cream I gave you?
No, it has not worked. I'm on Rash number 3.
You're not still contagious, right?
No. Well, we're not going to talk about it.
Well,
That's why we're on opposite sides of the table.
Yeah.
You know, I made fun of Alabama, how they use crayons instead of pens. Yeah. But everyone looks...
Hold on. Just crayons?
Yep.
We're talking about like the 232 assorted pack, or just like the 5 or 6?
The 5 basic colors.
That makes sense. Today we've got Taylor Duncan coming in. He's a good friend. We go back a long ways. He is with a very, very high-end recruiting firm. They bring in top talent. They help kind of springboard AEC 3 years ago when we really started going in and hiring people. They do an excellent job because of our background and his background in recruiting, and also building a company that essentially created an internship opportunity for, I think, upwards of about 30,000 kids across the country. We brought him into UU to help us build that out as far as the Vanguard program, the Forge program, our internship program with that because of his expertise. He and I go back a long way. We love doing these together, and today I think you'll really enjoy some of our insight. How long have you been in the recruiting game?
Officially 5 years.
Yeah, but before that, you were doing that internship program.
Yeah, so
remind me about all that.
So originally it was recruiting for my own company, right? But 50% of what we did in our old company was recruiting. It was all about growing the business through people.
Yeah.
So we did, recruiting started as early as September 1st, you could call it, Labor Day, all the way up until Labor Day to spring break.
Yeah.
We were in some form of recruiting with, so I would say, truthfully, I've been in recruiting, coaching recruiting, managing recruiting for the better part of 25 years.
Yeah. And when you first started on it, though, the recruiting side of it probably came natural to you just because of your personality type and stuff. But what were you guys recruiting when you first started?
We were recruiting young college kids with a winning mindset.
Yeah.
More than anything. I mean,
was this for the horse betting thing you were trying to do?
Yes. Yeah. Where we were trying to,
Well, but dude, I mean, I love the spirit of it because essentially you were recruiting these young men and women that were entrepreneurial minded for more of like an internship program where they learned how to kind of build their own business.
Yep, spring and summer. Yep, there was a...
So what were they out doing though? They were kind of doing construction, so what was that?
Yeah, house painting, right? That was the vehicle at which they learned entrepreneurship, was painting houses.
Going door to door.
Door to door in...
Zig Ziglar style.
In February in Wisconsin, Minnesota...
Did you go out with them or?
I did. I had to do it my first year and I loved it. I mean, I don't think anyone likes trudging around in the snow.
Yeah.
But
how did you even come up with that?
I didn't come up with it. It was there. I was an intern. It was really small at the time. But I was an intern in Illinois right after I had gotten hurt playing sports.
Hurt. Was that when you got kicked off the team?
Yeah.
For throwing your shoe or your helmet? You threw your helmet at a fan.
I did.
First person in Wisconsin football history to take his helmet off and throw it at a fan. Luckily, he missed. He threw it right into the wall in front of him. He just not a good thrower. That's why he was a lineman. Look at it.
Yeah, I was a shot putter too, so I knew how to throw something.
Dang, this guy could take down a Lou Mal... No, you don't like Lou Malnati.
I like Lou Malnati's.
Oh, okay. But this guy could take down an entire deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's. And now, I'm going to be honest with you, that pizza's that thick. Mm-hmm. And Taylor's little tummy does not feel good after taking one of those down, but boy, it's good. Going down.
Gino's East.
Woo!
I like Gino's East.
I haven't been there, dude.
Gino's East, Giordano's. Those would be my two
We've
favorite.
been talking about for years.
We got to go to Chicago.
Are you allowed back?
Nope.
Oh, okay. That's that whole passport thing we were talking about.
Yeah, they don't allow me back in Chicago.
Well, and it's crazy, man, how the Lord works, because you fast forward to where we're at now, and with AEC, you and I met, it was a brawl, wasn't it?
No, we met from youth baseball.
Yeah, and a brawl on the baseball field.
No brawl.
And I mean, just like every dude.
Can I tell you a story about Josh?
Yes. Which one is it?
It's the one where the first, we had met a few times. You were my kid's coach. And we went to the tournament, Louisville, wherever it was, in the middle of nowhere, like right on the Alabama border.
We were in good old boy country, which is where I shine, man.
And this was like, we had just moved here. We had our 5 kids. We had no real friends or family in town. We had a dog. And so we bring our 2 twin girls, who were at the time 6, and we drive down to Lewisburg to watch our oldest play baseball with your son. And the tournament was all on one field, and so it kept going, and we kept winning. And it was like 9 at night, and we're 2 hours from home.
I think it was more like 10.
Well,
it was late, bro.
No, it was at 9 at night when I went and talked to you. And because, I'm sitting in the stands with some of the other parents we had known, and I'm like, well, hang on. If they win this game at 9 and the next game starts at 11.
Win.
So I'm like, I'll fall on the sword and I'll go ask the coach if we're just going to forfeit, because there's no way we're going to have 5th grade boys playing baseball until 1 a.m, 2 hours from home. This is crazy.
That's
not
a word
forfeit.
That's a word that only comes from Chicago.
Well, clearly that was your mentality, because I went up to you and we hadn't known each other much, and I'm like, hey, coach, if they win this game, the next game, like, it starts at 11, like, do they finish tomorrow? Or are we just going to, like, call even and head home? Because we got, like, a dog at home, and I got 2 6-year-olds who have been here since 8 a.m., and it is now 10 p.m. And you're like, no. And you just walked away, and I'm like, okay. So we put my kid in your car.
That's right.
We went home because
I may have let Rome drive the car that night.
That's fine.
I needed a nap. I was tired.
We had to get home because I had 6-year-olds who had been there for 13 or 14 hours.
Yep.
We're like, we got to get them to bed. So we went home. But that was my first experience with you. So I learned.
That's right. And
intensity early.
Rome crashed with us that night.
Yeah. And I have pictures of him sleeping in the car on the way home. But they did win the tournament.
We did.
He does have the ring.
And we ended up at church that morning. And
slept through it.
But the boys, that was a good memory. That was a good memory. And that was what kind of forged our relationship as friends. And then, that was, that's 2018, 2019?
No. We moved here in 2020. That would have been...
Gosh, that's right, man.
That would have been the spring of 2021. Spring, summer of 2020.
So they were 12U.
12U.
Wow. Man. It's all a blur, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But, then when we went all in AEC, fast forward into 2020 happened, kind of delayed us. We were supposed to go to Cooperstown that year.
That was 2021. We ended up going to Florida, and we stayed with your family.
That's right.
We did get much closer because, we all stayed in one house.
We all stayed in one house, and, we learned a lot about each other that, I'm kidding. But anyways... So fast forward to 2022, AEC's recruiting, which is what you've done for years.
Yep.
And you really were impactful to start bringing in people.
Good people.
He lied to them, told them I was sane, good man. And, they came in and Taylor said, look, just don't be yourself at the first interview. I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, let them talk to Micah first.
But, dude, recruiting is everything for a company. A company is its people.
100%. For better or for worse.
Yeah. And you and I talked about it. And, when we started, the whole idea evolved with, originally, man, I wanted to have the workouts and stuff with our team. And then as I kind of evolved with all this, I was like, with the nonprofit and Undeniable University, just the cool stuff we can do with it outside of just recruiting in general, man, because people are looking for a place to go where they have purpose, where it's clearly spoken what the goal is, what the mission is. There's no whitewash stuff, right? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how do we get in front of young men and women on a mass scale? And then even create an internship pipeline to bring them in, the people that have I always use the word propensity to be an engineer, get them in an internship program, which then brings them into an employment with AEC. You and I sat down and started talking. Lo and behold, you had this company in the past that did recruitment, internship program. You brought a great skill set, knowledge base to the kind of the do's and the don'ts. Really, I mean, you tell me right off, don't bring them until after their junior year. And then I'm thinking back, I'm like, boy, that makes sense. Dude, I wouldn't have been ready till I was 25. But most of these young men and women, man, they don't really know yet. And it's that junior year after it where they're really starting to think about what's going to happen after college.
Especially given the AEC's situation is bring them junior year at earliest sophomore. Now, we worked with a lot of freshmen. We worked a lot of sophomores and juniors. But for what AEC and how it will work with them, to do it too early would probably be like too long of a launching spot for them. And also,
when did you come to that realization on junior year? What was what happened? Was there a story behind it, or is that just kind of based on your experience?
20 years of working with college kids and recognizing the changes they'll go through between freshman, sophomore, junior year. Our program was not based on anything technical like AEC is.
Yeah.
And so we could work with a freshman. You could work with a sophomore. And the tough part is like there are freshmen who are the exact person you're talking about. But if you were to put them in that system at AEC too early and have to go through that for 3 years, I think they would be wanting more faster and be wanting it by sophomore year because they've kind of gone through it. And you can't give it to them because they can't be full-time with AEC. They have classes, right?
Right. Well, and you're not, okay, so you're sitting on the board with Undeniable University. So kind of just to clarify all this, there's a lot of things in the works. We've got Undeniable Mentality, we've got Undeniable University, and you've got AEC. Now, these are all 3 separate companies. Undeniable University, its intent is to be a non-profit development company that doesn't just work with AEC, but it can work with other companies to help develop their internal staff as well as recruit or develop young men and women that are in college that want to go into that particular field and pretty much prepare them for batteries included. A lot of the ideas that, with UU that I had, like the Forge, the Vanguard program, the essence of it was the rat line at VMI. The tools and stuff that you learn in that, like you really learn what you can and can't, how much you're capable of, discipline, accountability, and young men and women. And I was wild, man. So VMI, I know, was a plan the Lord had, but there's a lot of cool things we can do with Undeniable University that I think you liked. Specifically, we can do college scholarships for you. If there is a young man or woman that is a special person that maybe we don't have a company that we can send them to, we can still do some scholarship opportunities for them and basically be a light. That's the point. But UU has just a ton of potential. Now then, on the other hand, we have Undeniable Mentality. That is what you see here. It's the social media aspect of things. It is the personality profiling, which you and I know are so impactful. You have one that you prefer. We've got the ones that we offer.
I like them all. I think they all are fun to understand who you are. I think everyone knows who they are at work or who they are in their family, right? I'm the loud one of my siblings, or but really, truly, when you kind of take a step back and you take that test to yourself and you see who you are as a person in your rawest form. Doesn't mean that's how you will always be, but in your rawest form, that's who you are.
So let's talk about that for a second. When did you first start applying personality assessments to the degree you're doing now? Do you remember?
Well, we just started. The first time I ever took one was my very first year in that company.
What
It
did
was
it
called
say?
CollegeWorks Painting. I was an ID in the disc. It was a disc profile. I know you're thinking it's going to say something like I was Superman. I was, but it
Super
came back
something.
as ID. I was a high I with a secondary D. And ironically, over time, I have changed into a high D.
Was that the medicine they put you on?
Yeah, I went from, well, here's the thing is I went from high I, D to high D, I, and now I'm high D, C as my secondary, which has changed over time.
That's your adapted?
I guess that's what they might call it, because they would say by the age of 16 or 15, or some people say by the age of 8 or whatever, you are who you are, like your character traits are built.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless you're a sociopath, which that's questionable for you.
Yeah.
So you really rewired yourself there. No, I mean, you're right. You have a natural, you have an adapted.
Mm-hmm.
My natural is DI. My adapted is still DI. It's just to a lesser degree. So,
Okay.
you know, we all have that natural adapted state, but the personality profiling with undeniable mentality, the whole goal there is to not just get the wiring, but also get the value system, which you see some attempt to. You know, you and I have talked about it a lot. I like axiology, which he and I did a podcast a couple weeks ago for the second time because we had some audio issues the first time, and I promised there was a young man that's actually in this room right now that I wouldn't bring that up, but I lied. I'm kidding. But
So he was subjected to talking to you twice?
yeah, and the worst part, it happened to the one man who, you know, is the least patient with that type of stuff, but Leon, he was good. I lied to him and told him I was bringing him up here. There's pizza, and he came up. I was like, Leon, let's just have a conversation. No, but the axiology stuff is impactful, but the whole point of undeniable mentality is to offer these profiling packages to families and educate them on how they work so that they can take those and the whole family takes them. We're actually doing a mock-up right now for our family and going through it with the kids, going through it with the parents, so that the parents, number one, understand their kids and vice versa. Because, man, you know, we talk about it all the time. You see traits in your kids, various forms of yourself, your wife. A lot of people are like, well, he's like me. Not really, because, I mean, Andrew's a lot like me, but, dude, he's very different. Like, we've been running some of the deeper stuff, and thank God he's very different. He's got a lot of talents that I don't have, and some that I have, he does. I mean, but, you know, if as a parent, it helps you guide your kid on the path that they should go, especially when you're about to invest the kind of money that we all know goes into college. And hell, maybe you even learn that your kid doesn't need to go to college. Maybe he needs to go into something else, or she.
You can see if someone has that entrepreneurial brain.
Yeah.
You know, I'm intrigued by, to me, the combination, because one of the things, I actually just had a discussion today because I interviewed some people and we looked at their, good, all three of them are really good, but the profiles that they came back are one way to look at someone. But when you start interviewing hundreds of people, and there's a lot of them that have really similar profiles.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Julie is just like Jonathan. And it's like, but they're not. They're very wildly different, even though they have the same profile.
Yeah.
And that's where...
Which profile were you running on?
The culture index one
that
we do. And ironically, I had my oldest, Rome, who you know well. He took that. Because they say don't take it till you're 16. A lot of that's just so you know the vocabulary, so you don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
He took it. He is identical to me. It blew my mind.
Surprised me.
But the interesting thing is identical in some regards, more spread out. So a little bit more, I say cartoonish version of me, right? So if I'm high autonomy, he's higher autonomy. If, you know, he actually is more social than I am. He's a little bit enjoys chaos more than I do, just constant change. So he's just a spread out graph, but the same graph as mine, but just more spread out.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. But I looked at these culture index and you say, well, Jonathan and Julie are the same, but they're not. And so much of that is then that next step, which is that the training and the experience people go through
Yeah.
is what makes someone, like you said, hey, I'm a high DI. Well, there's a lot of high DIs out there, and they're not all Josh.
Right.
And they all won't react the way Josh will. And what we were taught when we learned about Culture Index, our trainer used the phrase road rash. What kind of road rash have they had? Josh has had specific road rash from building companies, from clients that have gone really well, from clients that have gone really poorly, from situations with your wife. Those experiences have made the person who's a DI react differently the next time you face a client because you've had this road rash. So
Speaking of rash, did that cream I give you help?
No, it has not worked. I'm on rash number 3.
You're not still contagious, right?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Good.
We're not going to talk about it.
Well, dude, I forgot we're filming. Go ahead.
That's why we're on opposite sides of the table.
Yeah.
But it's that experience coupled with understanding who you are. It's not just, oh, this is who I am. I'm a DI, therefore I'm an entrepreneur.
That's
so
just
now
how you
I'm good to
view
go.
and experience the world.
Right.
What you're talking to is values.
Yeah, and then incorporating that experiential, that learning or that rat line experience. So it's not just you're a DI, therefore this. You're a DI, but then you get put through the rat line.
Yeah.
Or you get put through some level of, the common phrase we use is boot camp, right? A business boot camper. You get put through those boot camp experiences.
That's right.
And that's where you, in a lot of ways, even shape yourself even further.
Well, because it offers immersion.
Mm-hmm.
And immersion is needed for mastery.
Yep.
End of story. I mean, if you want to become a master of something, but you and I have talked about this till we're blue in the face because we love athletics, not because we want to live vicariously, but we played them at a high level. And you and I both agree that it's the perfect way, not perfect, but it's one of the best ways to experience adversity in a controlled environment without it ruining your life. And it sets a tone in your life that the day doesn't end at 3:30 or 4. And if you want to have, you got to go above and beyond. And that's where I think the sports side of this and or having, an internship that you have to go to after school sets the tone for your value system and how you see things. And so that's why this internship program, Undeniable University, will be and is launching and developing is going to be so important because for a company like AEC, specifically, what's one of the best sports team you've ever played on? And I'm going to just give you some ideas while you're thinking. The best team I ever played on was a wood bat team I played with in 1998. All right, this was in a summer league. It had good ball. They were from West Virginia University and Penn State and Florida Atlantic. We were so good because our chemistry, the right people, the right fit, personality. And then I played on a team in 99 that had All-Americans, but nobody fit and meshed well. And we had a terrible summer. Companies are the same way. And I want to hear what's your favorite team besides Avalanche in 2020?
Yeah.
21.
Seeing it through a parent's eyes, right? Like I see my kids' teams and I'm like, these teams were some of my favorite that I've watched my kids be on.
Yeah.
They didn't always have the best. They weren't always on the highest circuit or whatever, but the kids just had a lot of fun. Like, even just watched Easton's basketball team, the Stars program or whatever. They were technically the B team, but they went with the A team to the same Under Armour circuit, and they actually outperformed the A team. They went 11-1, and it's nothing against the A team. The A team, technically, I guess you could say those kids were better, but the benefit of Easton's team the kids. It was such an unselfish team.
Yeah. No
one cared who scored. It was just about winning games and having, just going out there and challenging themselves. And all of them had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and they wanted to win. And they did. And they ended up in regional play going 8-0. And it was like shocking.
Well, and that's the point. So with a company, it's not about having the young man or woman who went to Harvard or they went to Yale or they went to this or they have a degree from the Owens Business School. It's about having the right person with the right values in the right spot that
Mm-hmm.
is able to then be developed. So if we're able to get them and work with them at a young age, teach them about, teams and sportsmanship, or, how and what they're wired to be. Well, I mean, dude, you can identify a CEO or an entrepreneur that at 19, I would have been identified immediately,
Mm-hmm.
and they would have said, look, man, you're not going to do like well in engineering. You're going to get stuff like these for done in English. I mean, I did. I don't speak English well. I mean, if you can't tell from the
No
accent,
kidding.
man, you have no idea how hard I practice.
This is not English.
I mean, we were at one of Carter's tournaments a few weeks ago, and there's this group of fans there, and I'm talking about they were my people, man. They were like, hey, girl, nice hit. Blue, you screwed that one. I mean, and I was just like, I looked at Micah and I said, baby, so you understand the first 7 years of my life, that was the environment I was in.
East Tennessee.
But they would have said, Josh, engineering school, you're not going to have a 4.0. You can get through it, but where you're going to go with that is you're going to be a chief development officer or a CEO, probably a CEO, or you're going to just spin off and go do your own thing at some point. But get the degree. Or a COO, or a CFO, where they're all different. Or, hey, man, you're going to be a great entrepreneur for people. But you can develop them, and that's what we've started to cultivate with AEC, something that you started from the recruiting side. And then with the undeniable mentality, the profiling and stuff, and the social media, like we're already having people find us on social media and reach out, and we haven't even begun to defile ourselves yet. What is that movie? That's off a movie. I'll think of it in a second. But the YouTube, the podcast stuff, you talked about it. You've been to where you go into these colleges and you'll knock on a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
This right here is in front of their face.
Mm-hmm.
When the influencer, it grows to a certain size, and I mean, as you've worked for a recruiting firm for a long time, some of these companies pay a pretty good amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think recruiting is needed. That field is needed. But if what we're trying to develop gives us the ability to get in front of their face, and then we have you that then has an easier job recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I think a lot of it is the development side of understand their profile and then develop them. Change, almost give them an experience that allows them to see how far they can go.
Dude, right.
Because you said earlier, you said people are looking for something bigger than just a job. I guess I would add in there, some people are, it's not everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of people who just want a job.
Yeah.
They just want a job. That's just being average and getting a job is like what they want. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
the world
wrong
needs
with
that. I think some people really want something different, something bigger, and are willing to do different for that.
And it's interesting, thinking about that, is that something, do you think that's a common, maybe it is for some, but I really think most 20, 22, 23-year-old people, they have that in their heart.
No.
They don't.
I don't agree with
Okay.
that. I think some people do. I don't think most do.
It's interesting you say that.
I think most people want they want the end result.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to a guy today who went to Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and I made fun of Alabama, how they use crayons instead of pens.
Yeah.
But I talked to him and I said, everyone looks.
Hold on. Pencils, right? They have pens in Alabama?
No, crayons.
Well, crayons and pencils. But
Just crayons.
no pens, right? Just crayons?
Yep.
We talking about like the 232 assorted pack, or just like the 5 or 6?
The 5 basic colors or whatever.
That makes sense.
So I said, you look, and everyone wants, I'm sure everyone on campus looks at the football team and they're like, oh my gosh, Alabama football, those guys, and they see what those guys have and they say, man, I would love to play for Alabama football. It's like, no, you wouldn't. You just want to walk to class wearing the jacket or the ring or the whatever. You don't actually want to play football for Alabama. Do you have any idea what that means to play football for Alabama?
No, they don't.
They have no clue, and they want to be on Sports Center. They want everyone on campus to know who they are. They want to be that guy. But at the end of the day, they don't actually want to be on Alabama.
Well, and I think you and I are saying the same thing. What I'm saying is everybody has an idea of what their dream is, whether it is working 40 hours a week, just having a nice steady home, wife, 2 kids, they're good with that, but that is their dream, right?
Okay, fair enough.
And those are typically, a lot of those are engineers, which coincidentally, engineers are on the top 5 list of the most millionaires in the world. Now, we're not talking about sold a company. I'm talking about they saved up that amount of money over their lifespan because it's such a good, solid career.
Yep.
But you've got a steady, analytical person. Their dream is to go work for or work with a company. Because, look, it's like Micah marrying me. God
Big mistake.
Bless her. Don't say that. That hurts my feelings. You don't know. I'm sensitive. No, but Micah marrying me, she likes to be around the action, just like those Alabama fans. But she doesn't want to be the football player. She wants to be around the action. They like being around people who have energy, that energize them. But Leon and I talked about this 2 weeks ago. He said, he was the CFO at HCA. And he had a great guy worked for him, good dude. And he sat down one day and he goes, I would really like to have your job. And Leon said, buddy, I'll help you develop it. I'll tell you what, let's get you there. And he said, the guy goes, well, I got a dog at home and I can't. And Leon said, dude, exactly. You are doing exactly what you were meant to do. And that's a cool thing. And having a dog at home, but you and I, if you're a high D, you're going to be like, we're going to sell the dog. I'm going to go after that role. I want that role.
Or I'll bring the dog with me. He'll just be in the car and I'll roll down the windows.
That's exactly
right.
I'll train that dog to throw throwing stars and be a bodyguard.
You'll figure out a way, right?
That's right. So I think you and I are saying the same thing. It's just their dream. And dude, that's what's needed, right?
Sure.
If we were all high Ds, we'd kill each other.
Sure. I just think some people want. I don't think a lot. I think a lot of people are like, I'd like to have some nice things. I don't really, but I'm not going to go for it.
Yeah.
I had a guy. The same guy asked me a really good question.
With that.
I love this question. It was one of my favorite questions I've had in an interview, and I think it's really, in a lot of ways, what almost everyone should ask in an interview. Sitting down with you, it's Josh. You're successful, you're doing well, right? You're in this great position, you've done well for 10, 20 years. What did you do to get there? And I thought that was like because that's really what they should be asking, not what are the hours, what's the pay.
What was the first thing you said?
Well, I'm asking you. So
I failed a lot. That's what I did to get there. I failed a lot, and I wasn't afraid to fail a lot. I got out. I became an alcoholic. I was on anti-anxiety medications. I got completely crushed because I didn't know what I was doing. I made bad decisions. I made some good decisions too, but that's what it takes. You have to get the failure. You can't win without failure.
Okay.
Because here's the deal, man. If there is no failure, then winning doesn't matter. You learn more through failure than you do through winning. So by going through the failures, it showed me what not to do, which put a little bit of fear. Going through 08 with Jericho, it put a lot of fear in my heart. Going through alcoholism and, dealing with the clonazepam addiction and then all the freaking panic attacks that came when I was trying to get clean off that stuff. That put a lot of fear in my heart, but it also showed me how not to handle those situations, how to go the opposite direction. I failed a lot, which then showed me how I needed to build myself back physically, spiritually, mentally, personally, professionally, in order to be ready for the second go around. And the crazy thing is, we still sold 2 companies for a very good amount of money. What can we do now with AEC? And I don't want to sell this company. I want this company. It's like we talk about. Our mission is not the money. Our mission is the people, to develop the people. The money is a byproduct of a healthy company. A company that's built with people who, it's never perfect, but when you have people who are showing up, doing the job that they were intended to do because of you're doing a very thorough job, review them. And you're right too. There are people that are lazy. There are people who are entitled. They don't want to take ownership. They want to blame other people for their issues. They want to become owner of the AT&T building right here out the window without doing anything. Mm-hmm. We don't want those people. But you're right, there are those people too. But that would have been my answer.
Did you work really hard when you were in your 20s and 30s?
Getting through VMI was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Playing baseball, military, engineering. I didn't sleep a lot, but I learned what I could do. Like, I learned what I could put up with. When I got out, I went crazy. I went wild because I had been.
Were you working hard though?
At VMI?
No, after, when you got out?
I would say, compared to most people, yes. When I went to work at Contech in Las Vegas, doing a lot of cool civil engineering jobs, developments and stuff, I worked hard, played hard. That's just always my style.
So that was my answer. It was the difference between me and so many other people was just my 20s and 30s. I didn't know any different, and I just always worked hard.
Yeah.
Went from football to school and running a company, mm-hmm. to running a company and doing what most people wouldn't do.
Yeah.
That was like to me, I don't find it to be that difficult, but I see a lot of, and Nashville's a pretty good place. I'll bet you Vegas has some similarities, Miami, where you get a lot of an influx of young kids.
Yeah.
Who want to go there because the bright lights, Nash Vegas, that feel.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I'm going to move to Vegas when I graduate or shortly after I graduate. And there's always someone who wants to go out on Broadway, go grab a drink, go golf, go do stuff. So they get a job at, I won't name the big employers around town, but they go to their job from 9 to 5, but second 5 hits, they're out. And it's really, they came here for the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Same thing happens with people who move to Denver who go there to ski all the time.
Yep.
Or go to Miami for the lifestyle, or go to Vegas for the lifestyle. My 20s and 30s, I had a good lifestyle, just like you said, you went and you had fun and did those things. I had a lifestyle, but it was always really, in a lot of ways, second to winning, hitting my goal, like doing what I wanted to do. And, I look back now and I'm like, in my 20s, there were stretches of time where it was like 47 straight days of work.
Yeah.
I would work all week, meetings, whatever I had to do. Friday would roll around, I'd hop on a plane, I'd fly to Kansas City, do a training on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, get on a plane, fly home.
Yeah.
I for a 20-year stretch, I never once saw the Super Bowl at home. I watched it in airports, occasionally if the airport had it. Yeah. One year, the plane actually had it, and that was like a big deal because I got to watch the Super Bowl. Because I was always at a training, and I mean, how many people, when you're like, oh, what are you doing for the Super Bowl? It's like all about the Super Bowl party, right? Yeah. Like, I'm working.
Well, that's just you and I don't drink. We don't drink because we want to produce. We want to get up the next day. And I mean, a lot of people do drink, and I don't have it. I don't think there's unless if it controls you, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But a lot of people drink. I don't drink because the next morning I'm not as effective. And dude, it's like New Year's Eve, man. I work New Year's Eve. You know why? Because it's kind of weird, but it's because I know there's not a lot of people doing it. I work New Year's Eve. We haven't done any New Year's Eve parties, anything for years, man. I think we maybe actually did one.
Probably.
Like 3-4 years ago.
Just hang out, play some games, go to bed at 11.
At like 11, yeah, man. And, here with AEC, I was sitting there one evening, like, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm like, it's like 5 o'clock New Year's Eve, and I'm like, I'm going to work till like 9 tonight just because I know nobody else is doing it. And then I go home, spend an hour or so with the family, and your profile you're a good man, good businessman, because of your profile and your wiring, you're not as big of a risk taker
No.
as I am. And I think when you're a risk taker, like I am, like, I've joked all the time. I think you actually maybe have said this. When I took your exam, you were like, bro, you'd have been a really good fighter pilot, because the action is what excites me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're that type of, and I think that's why that stands out the most to me, I have failed so much. I have crashed and burned so much. And, if I had to learn through that, because, when you're the first, it's not like you learn this crap in college.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn it through a mentorship, I guess, but even still, man.
So you learned it through immersion by doing it and failing.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you're in a mentorship, you're still not the one at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when it's all on you, and I'm a believer, as we all know, man, and I know God it's all in his control, but we still fight that fear, and it's 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, and money's a little bit tight, and you got to go through a night like that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be a little bit
crazy.
You do. So AEC, we're working through this, and with Undeniable University and that partnership that we formed with AEC and future companies, it's very exciting, because there's nobody doing anything like it.
Mm-mm.
We've done a lot of social on the Vanguard program and throwing out poker chips. I swear, there's monetary value with it. It's kind of like reward systems. You haven't even seen it yet, have you?
Mm-mm. You haven't showed it to me.
That is insane, Taylor Duncan.
Give me a poker
Tay-tay,
chip. Give me a poker chip.
I will.
I've earned one.
I will. God dang it.
I like, again, the idea that it's not just I'm going to AEC for a job, right? It's the stuff outside of it that keeps you in a lot of ways embroiled with AEC, that will actually allow you to break past just, this is my job.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think that when I look up in the morning, I treat it like I'm going out to like slay a dragon, like to protect our people. Like when you treat each day like that, man, like we've had a young dude that just came from Hazen and Sawyer. He was the state structural lead, and we were talking about this morning. He's like, man, I am so excited. I get up at 4:30 this morning. I haven't been excited to go to work in a long time. And Hazen and Sawyer's a good company. There's nothing wrong with it. But because of his desire to drive and more, he had just gotten in a rut.
Yep.
And so I'm really excited about, having you on board, especially with your skill set and your experience as we kind of navigate these waters, man. And it's crazy to think that it's just been a hair over 3 years since really AEC was in full blast. Because AEC, the company's it's 17 years old.
Oh, like registered. But,
yeah, registered. It was,
But what you'd see today is, you're saying 3 years.
Well, full time into it. But
Yeah.
we started doing design work back in 2014, and then it just steadily grew each year as a side hustle.
But then it took off, full time.
It got to where we just couldn't manage it anymore, and it was obvious where I was at in 22. I was hoping for more, and it's all good. And so when that realization happened, we were just like, man, we're going to go on all into this full bore, man. And there's so many different avenues we can go into in civil engineering. We've got the survey, civil, structural, stormwater. We got municipal water, wastewater, pump stations. We've got inspections now. We've got all this.
Haven't even gotten tapped into yet transportation.
We can do transportation we do it for like subdivisions, but I'm talking about like for DOT work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bringing in a specialist for that. We've got, there's another avenue with even, getting into MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. That may be something in the future. Carter's wanting to go into biomedical engineering, our middle child, Carter. He knows who she is. And I was like, let's do it. I'm not a nepotism guy. You're going to have to earn it. But we'll be
yeah, right. She'll be the CEO of the MEP division before she's
COO. COO for sure. I'm telling you what, she is. I love that girl.
I hope so.
Not
It's your
just-
daughter.
Well, it's funny. I always joke, but you know, like I said, man, I'm not a nepotism guy. I'm kidding. But with her, I was like, shoot, what's to stop us? We could be pumping out Terminators.
But then she knows that she has to work with you.
What? Why's that bad?
Uh,
Keela, help me out here. Is that a bad thing?
it's not a good thing.
It's all right.
That's bullcrap, Taylor. You were so hurtful. You still mad about that thing?
No.
Oh, okay. Is your rash acting up? You need to
No.
go put some spray on it or something.
No. I'm good.
Okay. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please tune in. We bring in guests all the time. And if there's anybody that you want to hear from, send us a message on Instagram at Josh Spradlin Official, on Facebook, Josh Spradlin, TikTok, and LinkedIn. We're on all the stuff, man. And also AEC, Alliance Engineering and Consulting. We also have page on all 5 of those as well, other than YouTube. YouTube, the only channel is Undeniable Mentality. Look forward to seeing you soon.